Now for the BP Ultimate Grid lineup, and it's a reverse grid. Paul Manuel, he's been on pole here before, as we mentioned, but this time thanks to the reverse grid system.
Now row 2 sees Alan Harrison and John Penny, and we know John Penny has very good car speed and starting from a very favourite position.
Here's the reverse grid, a bit like a good luck from bad luck situation. Matt Lockwood and Christine Orr, interesting that they didn't choose to stay out of trouble at the back, still getting used to the pace.
Correct, then we have John Whelan and then John Hepburn, both Ford and Holden.
And David Bernard, another guy, we know he can be very quick. He's had some bad luck today, catching fire. In fact, I don't think anything's worked his way. Hayden McKenzie, Andrew Anderson on row 6.
Another fast charger and Andrew Anderson. Then we have Nick Ross and Dale Williams. Nick, we know, knows how to be aggressive and get through the traffic.
We're getting near the talent now. Craig Baird, he had all sorts of trouble in the last race, dead last. Sort of a DNF, so he has not gained completely.
Andy Knight, and look who's there, Angus Fogg. We know who the aggressor. We know he's got good tyres and good car speed.
Kane Scott and Simon Richards taking us to 19 and 20, and looking at these guys now, the talent starts. These are the guys who going to have to get through the traffic. Tim Edgell, Johnny Mack, and Andy Booth and Eddie Bell, who's being the find of the day.
And then rolling out last in the grid, of course, David Hopper. They made the selection to start at the back of the field. Sean.
They've come over the hill twice today for the start. Now it happens in reverse formation. Paul Manuel leading the field. They've managed to get through turn 1 safely so far today. Mark, I have the feeling that if things are going to go awry, this is the race to do it.
Sean, you're absolutely correct. Anything can unfold here. Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, isn't it? There's so many unknowns in the middle of this field, so many new guys. I expect Paul Manuel just to disappear to begin with. Watch row 3, 4 and 5.
And they go, and straight away it's 4 wide down the straight. I call that one. This is the reverse grid race. That was the reverse commentator's curse. I said there'd be carnage. They got through cleanly, and I've got to say, I'm impressed for one.
It's not over yet. Let's watch the end of the back straight, okay? Part 1 of the lap's done it. This is where it can come unfolded as well because of the concertina effect, of course.
And you've got guys like Johnny McIntyre are on board now, and let's stay with him as he charges into this hairpin, obviously trying to make up place, and someone's gone for the air conditioning.
Oh, they have it there. Who is that? Is that David Bernard?
They just had a rear door. It's a rear door open.
Well, the good thing is he's going to know how close the cars are. There we go. Craig Baird off, Dale Williams off, Andy Booth off. Cars in the background spinning. Kane Scott, championship leader.
This is mega. All the stars have hit the grass. It's Sunday afternoon gardening time in the BNT V8s.
Now it's out of the way. The race is now established. We're going to see some good, clean scrap from here. The thing we have to watch out for is from lap 10 onwards. This afternoon is a lot hotter than what we've seen before.
Big sideways moment, I think a nudge.
Now it's a car smoking. Whose is that? Let's see, that's David Bernard. We know that car's got a bit of an issue, as you see. They will bring that car in and make it stop unless it falls off before. Kate, look out.
I class you as an expert, Mark. I class you as an expert, but I'm sorry, mate, that's more than a bit of a problem. That's a massive air brake, and that was just the start of it on the hairpin. David Bernard's still going. And behind him, it was just absolute chaos. All the stars of the day turning to dust. There's Kane Scott.
Oh, look at the damage on the front of Kane's car.
The bonnet.
The smoke coming out. Now, the team has to decide, is that tyre smoke or is that actually radiator leaking? If it's radiator, it will be terminal, hopefully not.
You've talked all day about the slight aero problems making the front of the Falcon shake. I think that's a slightly worse issue for Bezzy there.
Fair to say, he certainly will be keeping nice and cool in that car.
Well, up front and well out of trouble is Paul Manuel, and there's the view from behind Angus Fogg. And you know, these guys, they've got all the experience. He's chased hard by Johnny Mack by the looks of it. These are the guys with all the experience, but when it comes to reverse grid, there is no patience.
No, and you can't afford to have patience. The thing to keep in mind, because we've got one round less this year, after this race, he's 17% of the way through the championship. That's how quick we're going through this championship now. The key to this race, though, is the tyre degradation. We know from that 15 onwards, these tyres, they get an absolute punishing, but they do a sterling job for what they are. We've seen it before, and we'll probably see it this race, the tyre delamination. So the guys will be trying to stay off the curbs as much as they can, keep it nice and clean, execute the exit of the corners the best they can, and keep them flowing. because the minute they start using any curb at all, it puts a little chink in the tyre, then it keeps picking it up, and at the end the tyre just shreds itself.
By delamination, you're essentially talking about the tyre falling to pieces.
It is, yeah. It's not a fault of the tyre. It's because the teams and the drivers decide to use the curbs. The curbs are very abrasive, very sharp edges, and it just puts a nick in, and it just keeps wearing the tyre away.
There's John Hepburn chasing Clark Proctor, and it looks like Craig Baird seeking up, and he's got past going into turn 1. And Angus Fogg, that's a bit of a trademark move from him. Taking the shortcut over the grass. Will he have to concede position there?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I didn't see where he went in, but
I think he stayed where he was, actually.
No, look, he's going to be away. He's going to get away with that. The fast mover up, Eddie Bow, starting towards the back of the field, already up to 13th, just behind Craig Baird.
Yes, these guys don't waste any time, and do notice too that this race is 10 laps longer than the last couple we had today, so there is time, and you'd think they might have a bit more patience.
Yeah, but once again they don't. But Andrew Anderson, the biggest mover, already up to 5th place, circulating at very good lap times. He is actually going to be a legitimate threat to this race, and maybe 5 laps.
And we talked about the guys doing so well earlier today, but not so well today. There's Angus Fogg getting very, very sideways to Castro, and behind him Andy Booth, second so far for the weekend. He's into the grass, and that's going to really hurt his chances. Yeah, what was interesting though, Eddie Bow was in very close proximity to that car when it went off. Did he get a tap? Did Andy lose it? Not too sure. Either way, rest assured, if the officials feel that Eddie had any part to play, they will bring him in. And of course, with the shorter championship this year, there's no chance to say, hey, it's only round 1, we've got a whole season to go. It will suddenly feel like a very short season.
No, we saw Clark Proctor coming through the pits. That's an absolute travesty for that team because they've been working so hard. Now, he's pulling in. It's not a drive-through.
Yeah, so just the lack of patience going into the hairpin, and it was off for so many cars. That was big offs. We had, I don't know when Bezzy lost his door though.
No, that must have happened earlier in the race. But
how do you lose a rear door like that?
It's not particularly easy, to be fair. It must have taken quite a big old hit there, and it just dislodged it.
Lap 7 of the final race of the day, the final race of the weekend. It's reverse grid, in case you're wondering why the likes of Johnny Mack and Angus Fogg are back in the traffic. But boy, Mark Pedersen, these guys started right at the back, and already they're up. Angus Fogg up to 7th, McIntyre up to 8th, and I think these guys are going to be nose and tail right to the finish. They will be.
Like Johnny McIntyre's right there, and he's made fantastic progress. The biggest problem he's got that LG car in front of him. Equal car speed, very good. Johnny McIntyre may just choose to consolidate that place behind Angus. Let Angus punch all the holes in the traffic and just follow through, then maybe wait for another 5 or 6 laps, then pounce on him if he gets the opportunity.
Yes, he's like a hawk. He just comes in, he has a bit of a hunt, and I should say he's like a falcon. And he comes in, he hunts, and then he just pegs back a bit, and he's just trying to force that mistake, because we won't call it the red mist, we'll call it the red fog, descends for Angus, and he can just lose it a little bit on a crucial corner as they make up another place. He'll try to on the hairpin, it's tight.
He will he'll get a drag race here, and look at Johnny McIntyre. He'll just slot straight in the back here. He'll probably pick the position up as well. No, proved to be incorrect actually.
Yeah, so the pace appears to have dropped off a bit. I think the drivers are starting to consolidate now, try and stay awake. Johnny Mack's team watching on as he looks to get past Matty Lockwood, and this is a real break for Angus Fogg. He got past at the right time, and that Lockwood making his debut straight out of the Utes. He did very well there, but this is a heck of a step up.
It's a significant setup for young Matthew. But Johnny McIntyre, he's going to execute the move, and he's going to get through here. They are picking him off. The reason why the lap time's dropping back a bit is because they're in traffic, but they can't do their nice, clean, smooth, uninterrupted lines because someone's else in the way. But as we saw, Johnny Mack just pulling out of the draft.
On board now with Angus Fogg, and look at his screen, he is up to 4th place. What a flyer, and he's done that in 9 laps. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in one race weekend make up so many laps in this much time. And look out, here comes Craig Baird. He's also on the charge, right behind Johnny McIntyre.
In 3 or 4 laps, we're going to have past and present champions all batting for the lead, sorry, with the exception of Kane Scott. We're going to have Paul Manuel, we're going to be Andrew Anderson. Angus Fox going to be in there shortly, Johnny McIntyre and Craig Baird.
I don't want to put anyone wrong there. Johnny Mack had actually sneaked past Matty Lockwood. We're actually seeing his view there. So, my goodness, these guys are racing. I think we're actually going to have them fighting for the lead very, very soon.
Now, here we go. Paul Manuel. Somewhere in the shot is going to be Andrew Anderson. I don't know how close he is. There he is. That is close as it is. First and second place. These guys are stablemates as well. They share information. Paul Manuel's had a terrible weekend by all standards. Andrew Anderson had that suspension failure in practice, so he knows.
Well, here's the big move. Is he going to do it?
It's a long way around Paul Manuel at the best of times. But Andrew has been known to be aggressive at times as well.
Well, he went off during practice, but we found out later it was a collapsed suspension.
Yeah, he's just going to stay there. It's a drag race, Sean, sorry.
It's the inside move again. He's done it.
God, it must have fantastic drive off that hairpin. Just hooking the car up. Now look at it sideways.
Oh.
Paul get a run. No, actually, Andrew getting sideways threw Paul up as well. Paul had to respond to that.
That was something else. That's as crossed up as I've seen since Angus Fogg had practiced through there.
That's the car control. That's how much confidence these guys have. And keep in mind, this is all at 180 kilometres an hour.
Speaking of Angus Fogg, that was the view from Johnny Mack's car. He's back on the tail as they hunt John Penny. As I said, I had the feeling these guys will be fighting for the lead. Once they get past Penny, I think we're going to have a four-way race, and we're not even halfway through the race distance yet.
No, now, if Angus can't execute the move on John Penny, or Johnny Mack for that matter, Craig Baird is going to capitalise. He needs John Penny to stay in front to slow these guys down a little bit longer so he can get on the trail. Okay, one's gone through, Johnny Mack gone through as well. Not at this stage, but...
Bit of clever blocking there from Angus. He's placed his car perfectly. Right out onto the curbs.
Is Johnny going to have the drag race? What's going to happen here? Is John Penny going to stay there? No, conceded.
So he's done the right thing. He's got out of the way and let these guys get on with their duel.
Well, he knows they've got a lot more car speed and he knows it's just a matter of time. And sometimes those guys can actually lose more speed by trying to block the fast guys and letting them go and just jumping on the back of the trail and following them.
Let's forget that first hairpin. The discipline, especially of the slower drivers, has been very impressive in this race. It is the first reverse grid race of the season. You know, it's a whole new experience for a lot of them, and they've been very well behaved.
They have. You know, everybody would have had a talk to, and they would have known, look, guys, you know, we've worked as much as we can to find big investors to come on board this year, but a lot of the teams are running on very tight budgets, and to throw a lot of that budget away in the first round is just senseless. So obviously the message has got through, and the drivers are behaving.
Well, an awful start to the race for Kane Scott. He's out of the running, but if we look at the front runners there, Andrew Anderson's taken the lead off Paul Manuel. Then you've got Angus Fogg and John McIntyre. Johnny Mack, obviously, his last race turned to custard when he didn't turn up to the grid on time. He admitted he was still going to be angry going into this race, and I think we've seen it so far, but it's incredible. We're only coming up to half distance now. We've already got the top guys up front. Dale Williams makes a stop, quick check up.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what that's about, but now Craig Baird has managed to execute the move past John Penny. So now he's up to 5th place. So soon he'll be on the back of McIntyre. Craig Baird is actually circulating the fastest car at the moment. But Paul Manuel, he hasn't done a great deal of race miles here, so he might not actually have much confidence in that car over the longer duration like everybody else has had the luxury of.
Well, he actually got him and Andy Booth, got Andrew Anderson to do all their pre-season testing for him.
Smart move. Why would you yourself out?
Well, it's worked out well for Andy, I'll tell you that. Andrew Anderson, that is, not Andy Booth.
Well, keep in mind, this team has had a change of direction because last year it was Paul Manuel and Andy Booth teared up, and Andrew Anderson was essentially a satellite team, albeit from the same stable. This year, all three cars are treated equal. They all share data, all share the same parts, so it's really a three-team race now.
And here comes our find of the day. It's Eddie Bell. He's up to 9th. Just getting past Darren Henderson there, former Porsche racer. So he's another one coming through.
Now Eddie Bell, his next two victims, do I dare say, is going to be Matt Lockwood and John Penny. We know he's got a lot more car speed than those two, so he should be able to get through those relatively comfortable. Then he'll be up to 6th place, which on paper, if everybody stays where they are, should give them the round win.
And the other thing we're seeing here, thanks of course to the reverse grid, although some good driving, brilliant driving from Andrew Anderson, is a couple of Holdens up front. It's been a while.
It's good to see. And one thing that we've seen this year from the Holdens we haven't seen from the last couple of years is that they have good long-term race pace. Normally a Holden would go off song after 5 or 6 laps, but Andrew Anderson has proven that they can do it.
The view from behind Johnny McIntyre, it's Craig Baird hunting the former champ. Big day for Craig Baird. He's been doing Porsche GT3 Cup duty as well, but he seems fresh and fit. He's chasing Johnny Mac, and I hate to say it, he's looking quicker.
Ah, yes, but that was always going to happen.
I was just trying to wind you up there, of course. That's your former car. I guess you know how fast it is, and it's certainly running better than it was in the last race.
It was running like a rocket. Yeah, unfortunately the team just got caught out with a bit of a technical issue, which no doubt the remedy. But now, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, all within a blink of an eye of each other. And Paul Manuel holds the trump card here.
On board now with Angus Fogg along the back straight, right on the bumper of Paul Manuel.
Paul Manuel's just... Oh, now tyre's gone. That's what I was talking about before. Okay,
Where's
one of
that?
the tyres on one of the cars is shredded. I don't know who it is, but that's the tyre degradation. Andrew Anderson, there you go.
A lot of curb hopping earlier when
Yes.
he was very, very aggressive, and he's paid the price. It's a rare, is it?
And that's what we're referring to, about hitting the curbs too early, the degradation.
Is that the right rear? My goodness, that rubber just sprayed everywhere. When you said delaminating, I didn't think they'd go like that. That's more like a shatter.
Now, look who's leading the race. Angus Fogg. Who would have thought on Friday afternoon when we saw that big wreck that he would be back in this position again?
So he's waited. This is the guy whose car was so close to a write-off less than 24 hours ago. And here he is. He's just taken the lead, and obviously he placed himself perfectly. Paul Manuel just a bit too close to react.
That's right. But now Paul Manuel, he holds a trump card again. He's in 2nd, but we know that car doesn't have as much car speed as the Johnny McIntyre or the Craig Baird car. When we have a look at down the straight, we're going to see Paul Manuel go hard to the left, and no doubt Johnny Mac go hard to the right. Here we go. He's out of the draft. It's a drag race now. Now, can he get wind of braking hill? Yes. Now, what does Craig Baird do?
That was massive brakes and a wee wabble from the tail of Johnny Mac, and now Craig Baird's looking. He won't have enough, but you get the feeling it's going to happen soon.
It is. Here we go. Look, Craig's just popped out to the right. No, he's just going to... He'll probably just wait till the back straight if he doesn't have a look down the front straight. He knows he's got the speed. He's seen Angus Fogg do it to Paul Manuel. He's seen Johnny McIntyre. He knows where Paul's strengths and weaknesses are, and he'll play on those.
The question is, we've seen one tyre go. He's not the only driver, Andrew Anderson, to be driving aggressively. Are we going to see any more go like that?
Oh, most definitely we will do. Yeah, I don't know who. And it all depends what kind of setup they start at the beginning. Because this race is 22 laps in duration, it's very high ambient temperature. They work the cars very hard.
Well, we're stepping up for the run home. Back with more on 3 in just a moment. You're watching 3, your new home of New Zealand Motorsport, the Fujitsu 200 from Pukekohe. It's the final race of the day, lap 17, and what a race it's been so far. If you've just joined us, Angus Fogg leads. He started right near the back. He's had a heck of a weekend, fighting his way up through traffic, but the big news so far, Andrew Anderson, his tyre just falling to pieces. He's just been driving too hard. He lost his lead. Johnny McIntyre has moved up to 2nd. The Holdens were looking so good for so long, but now it's another Ford 1-2, and it couldn't be a 1-2-3 as Craig Baird looks to be sneaking his way past in the background. He's right on Paul Manuel's tail.
He probably would have expected to got past Paul by now, but it just hasn't happened. But he needs to execute that move as quick as he can. The laps are running out. He needs to get on back because we know he has good car speed, slightly quicker than what Johnny Mac is, but unfortunately just the delay is not allowing him to get on the back of the train.
You know, I said it earlier that I was amazed by Craig Baird's fitness, his ability. It's a very warm day here at Pukekohe. He's been in the Porsches. This is hot, hard work. And here he is, the final race of the day, 22 laps in the V8, and he is just taking it to them, coming from the back, and he's push and shove with Paul Manuel.
But keep in mind, he's a professional racing driver. This is what he does for a job. Good move. It's just a drag race now, and he'll hold that place. Now we're going to see the true car speed of this car to see if he can get on the back of Johnny McIntyre. But the laps are running out for him. But interestingly, Eddie Bell up to 6th place. If he stays there, he will win the round.
That's Eddie Bell coming through the start-finish line now. And this kid's just been so impressive. Former RX-7 mini racer, debut season last year in the NZV8s, the BNT V8s, claimed his maiden victory earlier today. and he's just got a beautiful, smooth style. And I suppose the fact that he's new to it, he hasn't got any bad habits.
No, and we've seen that before, and we've seen that by a couple of new people coming to the class. They jump in one of these cars, and they don't know what's right or what's wrong. They just jump in and drive on natural ability, and that's just shown all the way through Eddie last year, and it's followed through into this year. Darren Herenson on screen, and young Matt Lockwood behind him is giving a bit of a hurry up.
Well, Lockwood's had a bit of a rough weekend, but he seems to be holding his own a lot better. He's getting up to speed in these cars, and it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, no one has ever said they're a car that you can get in and just drive, and he certainly had his teething troubles putting it into the sand trap on the hairpin, but he's looking a lot better now.
Yes, that transition from Utes to V8s, they've both got four wheels, both got two doors, one's a Ford, one's a Holden, and that's really where the similarity ends. It is a significant transition, and he has handled it relatively well.
I have talked to a few drivers who, NZV8 drivers, who said they've been in the Utes, and they said the Utes were pigs to drive. I said, well, what are the NZV8s like to drive? They're pigs too.
Yeah,
the supercar drivers stay the same.
You see Angus there, you'll see his footwork. He's just pumping the brake pedal. What it does, it's probably more of a confidence thing than anything else. The front of Kane Scott's car. You would have seen that probably on the first lap, and that Constantina effect at the end of the back straight.
Yeah, but he's actually making ground up again. He's got past Richards, and he's up to 12th. But yeah, you imagine that had he avoided that trouble on the first hairpin, he would have been up there with this fight for the lead. But it has been an incredible effort so far. How quickly these top guns have gone from the back to the front in this reverse grid race. We have Angus Fogg. What a story for him this weekend. He missed it. His car badly damaged in practice yesterday. He couldn't qualify. He went from last to 10th in the first race. He made up a whole bunch more places in the last race. Of course, then it's reverse grid, and now he's fought his way back to lead. Yeah,
this battle's not over. Angus's car is starting to go off. Although there's only 2 laps to go, you'll see it starting to move. The first thing that'll go will be his ability to hit the brakes hard. Now, Johnny McIntyre's sucking himself back up. He's going to pop out to the right. There you go. This is just the dummy. I doubt anything's going to come of this. Now, watch for the switchover coming out of the hairpin and for the drag race. Okay, now hard and turn it down, right down. No, he hasn't got the ability, but we know Johnny McIntyre over the section of the track is faster than anybody else. Okay, stay there, Johnny. Look for Johnny to pull out and go down the inside of the front straight if Angus doesn't cover it. No, not close enough. And all this battle is allowing Craig Baird to get on the back.
So it's amazing that Angus is keeping it flat over the hill like that as we go into the final lap. Considering what happened yesterday, that shows that it hasn't phased him as he hit the grass over the hill. But now this is Johnny Mack, who lost the championship on the last lap last year right here at Pukekohe. So he's got a real point to prove. Can he do it?
He can do, but I seriously doubt he will. Unless something goes wrong or Angus misses his braking marker, there's still a championship to be had here, and there's too much to lose by trying something too desperate at this stage.
Well, this is it, the last braking effort. This could decide the final race. Angus Fogg moves ahead. We're on board with Johnny McIntyre into the hairpin.
Okay, part 1 is done, the clean execution. He's got a good drive out of the hairpin. I doubt Johnny McIntyre, but Craig Baird could be the spoiler here. No, they're going to be line astern unless Johnny can unraffle Angus and make him go wide, which he hasn't. Now it's just a drag race out of the front straight. Got it.
So Angus Fogg holds on to take out a win. From 0 to hero, he holds off Johnny McIntyre. Craig Baird 3rd. Paul Manuel, he led, but he wasn't able to hold on. He finishes 4th. John Penny in 5th, and Eddie Bell, what a great weekend for him. Have a look and see how he finished for the weekend, but he finishes 6th for the race.
Yeah, I would think on points correction that he'll come out on top, and an outstanding job for that whole team.
It's amazing. He had maiden victory in race 2, and if he gets the round, that would just be something else, and he'll top the championship as well. Yeah. As we speak, we're adding up the points for the weekend, but this is how the race finished, and what an effort from Angus Fogg coming from the back in the reverse good race, as you have to, of course, to hold off Johnny McIntyre and Craig Baird. A Herculean effort from him after a huge weekend driving the Porsche and the NZV8s. But what a great finish to the weekend, Mark, and these guys, it was hot enough work commentating, but impressive work from them.